Hello everyone, I'm Allahbaksh Mohammad Ali Asadullah. I'm Principal Product Architect at Infosys. Thank you for joining us. Hope you and your near and dear are doing well. In this session, we'll discuss how you can prepare for Infosys campus recruitment program. We have few recommendations that can help you to prepare better. Kindly note that this should be only treated as recommendation and guidance. This is not an exhaustive test, so students should not restrict themselves only to this. Now let's start with the presentation. Infosys Online Test is used to hire specialist programmer and digital specialist engineer. This test usually contains 3 questions that you have to attempt in approximately 3 hours. The test can have a sectional cutoff and as well as total cutoff. And these 3 questions could be from easy, medium, and hard. So one question could be from easy category, another could be from medium, and another could be from hard. And you could attempt each of these questions using one of the programming language like C or C++, Java, Python, or JavaScript. For example, you could attempt the easy question using C, medium question using Python, and hard question using JavaScript. Or you could say that easy, medium, and hard, all these 3 questions I will actually attempt using C++ or Python. So the choice is yours that which programming language you will pick to solve this problem. Easy question can be attempted by using basic application of aptitude, algorithm, and data structures. When you solve any of these questions, you have to actually pass the certain test cases. These test cases are there to check whether you have solved these problems appropriately, yes or no. So some of the test cases check the edge cases. Some of these test cases check whether you are able to solve it within the appropriate time and memory complexity, right? So the easy question usually can be attempted and then solved between 20 to 25 minutes. If you spend something more, that's perfectly fine. Now, going to the medium question, these are the questions usually based on the greedy algorithm. Not that it will be only based on the greedy algorithm, but these are usually based on the greedy algorithm. And when you are solving these questions, there are details around that. Like for example, there are certain examples. So go through these examples where there is an input and then the output which is there, and then try to solve that and then try to understand it. Once you try to understand it, it is pretty easy to think and then apply the appropriate algorithm. Hard questions. Hard questions are usually based on dynamic programming. You have to actually think, you have to use appropriate tricks, and then use the dynamic programming. When you solve any of these questions, see how do you maximize your score, right? And when I say how do you maximize your score, I'm talking about the sectional cutoff or the total cutoff. And see which programming language you would use to solve this. You should be comfortable using that programming language. A medium difficulty level question are usually of a type greedy algorithm, and the way you would solve this question is you will try to see if this solution can be solved by using some heuristic and then locally optimize that and then go ahead and then use it. There are different types of greedy algorithms like pure greedy, orthogonal, relaxed greedy. You should go ahead, see the problem statement, and then check whether a greedy algorithm can be utilized to solve it. If not, you would see that, okay, should I actually bring this problem statement or transform this problem statement into a problem statement which can be easily solved by already existing greedy algorithm. Now, while you solve this question, which is of a medium difficulty level, please make sure that you give around 40 to 45 minutes or 40 to 50 minutes to solve this problem. And if you get stuck in between, please see how many test cases you are able to solve. If you are able to pass 50% or 60% of the test cases, you leave it over there and then you go ahead and then attempt the hard question which is there. Once you finish the hard question, come back and then again attempt for the medium question. Now, the hard question, which is usually based on the dynamic programming approach, and as you know, DP is a technique of solving the problems which are in the area of optimization problem, basically, by breaking down this problem into a smaller sub-problems and then finding the solution to that smaller sub-problem, and by using that smaller sub-problem solution, we solve the entire problem, right? So the principle of the DP, as you know, is breaking down the problems statement into a sub-problem and calculating their values. And whenever next time you actually get that sub-problem, you will actually replace that solution directly instead of recalculating that problem again. But thereby you would be avoiding the repeated work by saving the partial result. And this is a common approach which is used to improve the performance of the system, right? And there are examples of this, right? Fibonacci series is a very good example where you would have solved and then you would have saved the partial solution, and you will use this partial solution to solve the next iteration, right? So how do you actually know that this is a problem statement where I would apply dynamic programming approach, right? So there are characteristics of dynamic programming problem, and these are common characteristics. Two of the major properties of any DP is the overlapping subproblems and optimal substructure property, right? So the overlapping subproblem means that a problem, if it has a subproblem which are overlapping in each other, then I would actually go ahead and then solve that subproblem multiple times, and thereby I solve the bigger problem. The other property is the optimal substructure property. It says that the overall optimal solution can be constructed from the optimal solution of its subproblem, which means that I have actually solved a problem, a subproblem, and it is optimally solved, and I use these subproblem, solve some problem to construct the overall solution of the problem statement. And thereby I solve this entire stuff appropriately. Now, the DP problems are the problems which actually takes maximum amount of time. Usually you should spend 45 to 60 minutes or more to solve it. One of the important thing is you see the examples, see what are the inputs and how the output is obtained, what kind of transformation has been done to obtain the output. And if you read one or two or three examples which are there as a part of the question, it will give you a good understanding of the problem statement. Reread the problem, read it again if you don't understand. If there are any diagrams, don't get walked by that. Try to understand from the diagram how exactly the diagram actually portray the problem statement. So if you are able to solve the hard question, the DP problem statement which is there, then all the test cases pass, which are given test cases within the time frame which is given, then it is really good. Go ahead and optimize the solution approach. There are two different ways to store the values or to store the partial result of an overlapping subproblem. One is top-down approach, which is at using memorization, and the other is using bottom-up approach, which is tabulation, right? You should see what approach you want to use. Do you want to use memorization or you want to use the tabulation? The details of memorization and the tabulation would actually help you how do you go ahead and then approach the problem which is there. Some of the problem statement which are of a dynamic programming type will actually see in many of the programming contests are knapsack problem, Fibonacci number series, palindromic subsequence, Dijkstra's algorithm application, and so on, right? So you should see if you can solve some of these problems and then apply it on different problem statement which are there or different puzzles. Practice it well. Now, if you do this properly and then if you try to maximize the number of test cases which you can pass, then it's really good. Then the chances that you would be able to crack or to able to qualify for the interviews would be higher. Once you solve all these problem statement or you solve each of the problem statement, please save it and then submit it. It's very important that you save and then you submit the problem statement. If you don't submit it, it's not actually considered for evaluation. So unless and until you submit that problem statement is not considered for the evaluation. So if you have actually just saved it and then the time gets over, then that answer will not be considered for any evaluation process. So what I would suggest is, after finishing a puzzle or a problem, please save it, submit it. Next, you pick that other problem, save it, submit it, take another, the third one, save it, and then submit it. Now, you have finished your entire test process. You are happy. You got shortlisted for the interview with Infosys, right? Interview for the specialist programmer or digital specialist engineer role. So how do you go ahead and then prepare yourself for the interview process? So the interview round, which is one of the round, it will actually check a technical and behavioral skills of yours. Usually these technical round or the interview round, which we'll call, lasts for 1 hour. You might actually solve this puzzle or a problem statement using programming language of your choice. So you could actually use Python, you could use Java, you could use any programming language. Now, while if you solve this problem statement during the interview process, the next thing is the question and answer round, where we would ask you the questions as a part of it, right? So we could actually pick the problem which you have solved, and then we'll ask why you have used specific algorithm or data structure. Can it be optimized? So we'll ask you a lot of questions on the data structures and algorithm which is applied to that problem statement. And apart from that, we'll ask you generate questions on the data structures and algorithm, right? Asking about the complexity of an algorithm, what you would use in which scenarios, and other ways. Apart from that, for computer science and information technology student, we ask questions around basic of computer science, like computer organization, operating system, digital signal processing, object-oriented programming. If you choose a language of choice, suppose if you use Java as a programming language to solve the problem which was given, then we'll go ahead and then ask you questions on the Java. And we could also go ahead and then ask question how certain object-oriented programming paradigm are there. Like for example, I would ask question how multiple inheritance is achieved using in Java, or does Java solve the problem of multiple inheritance? Or I could go ahead and ask how abstraction is done in Java, right? So please choose the programming language which you are comfortable. Tell the interviewer that I am comfortable with Java or Python or C or C++. Interviewer is there to help you to get best out of you, right? And for the students who are from other branches, like those who are from electrical sciences, or those who are from electronics, or those who are from mechanical engineering, we ask the questions on algorithms and data structures because we have solved the problem which was given, or a puzzle which was given, and then we ask you question on computer network or digital electronics or control system or object-oriented programming or mathematics, right? These are picked based on what your specialization is in, right? Like for example, if you have specialized in mechanical engineering, then I would prefer to ask you a question on control system apart from asking questions on algorithm and data structure. So you should have the knowledge of algorithms and data structure, that is mandatory. Apart from that, I might actually go ahead and then ask control system, mathematics, right? And if you have taken any of the electives in your previous semesters, like for example, you have taken an elective on object-oriented programming, or you have taken an elective on operating system, or you have taken an elective on AI, then I'll go ahead and then ask you questions on that elective. It is also important that you explain how you had gone ahead and then prepared for algorithm and data structures, and what are the different algorithm and data structures you learned, and how you applied it, or how do you find the application of it in different subjects. Like for example, if I actually say that, okay, computational geometry is one of the things. How do I actually apply some of the data structures and algorithm? Or if I have a problem which I have to solve in mechanical engineering, how can I apply data structures and algorithm, appropriate data structure or algorithm? How can I use graph theory in the solving electrical subsystem problems, right? So it's important to actually explain that and then say that how you can solve it appropriately using appropriate data structure and algorithm. That is all from my side on how do you go ahead and then prepare for your test. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Allahbak sir. I am Sneha. You have given some great insights. So I have a few questions. My first question is, what would be the right approach to maximize my chances at cracking the Infosys online test? So how should I go about preparing for the questions given that there is very limited time?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So first thing which I'll advise you to actually brush up your data structures and algorithm skills, right? Like for example, whatever you have studied in your previous semester, third or fourth semester. Once you have actually revised your basic data structures and algorithmic skill, then you pick, a problem which might be from any of this one, like technique, like greedy algorithm, and then you try to solve it. When you try to solve it, probably you might be able to solve it, or you might actually get stuck. When you get stuck, please go through that problem solution of that problem statement. Don't see how exactly it is coded, but how exactly it is approached. The approach is very important, and once you find the approach, you have understood the approach, then you will go ahead and then code it. If you can code it and then you can solve the it appropriately so that all the test cases pass, then it is great. If not, right, if not, again go back, read the solution approach, see where what you have actually left out, what did you not cover while you coded for it, and then try doing it. If you can't do that also, if it is not possible, if you are getting stuck, some problem statements are in certain way that you will not be able to solve it in first go, then go ahead and then read the solution approach, right? You do this for different problems which are there, right? And then every day you actually spend 2 to 3 hours on this, and I think that is good time to actually, and I think that is a good time, and you can probably go ahead and then crack the Infosys online test.
Thank you. So I have a couple of more questions. My second question is, let's say I can solve a question using greedy programming as well as dynamic programming. So how should I make the choice in the Infosys online test?
Okay, that's a great question. And this question is often a confusion for the most of the candidate. So what I would suggest is first see that, okay, can you solve this problem statement using the greedy algorithm, right? And quickly. So if you can solve this in 30 minutes, go ahead, solve it in 30 minutes. See all your test cases are passed, right? And if you think that some of the test cases are not passing, or you see that, okay, no, out of 9, only 7 test cases are passing, keep that solution, comment it, right? Don't delete it. Go ahead, apply the dynamic programming, solve it, everything works fine, all the test cases pass, good. But in between, you realize that you have only 5 minutes and then you will not be able to complete it using dynamic programming. I would suggest you go back, uncomment your greedy approach, call that function which is there, and then go ahead with it. While you do this, please make sure that you save at each and every stage of your programming what you have coded, right? And you submit it. Unless until you submit it, that thing is not taken for evaluation. So whatever you have submitted, that would be taken for the evaluation.
Okay. And if I make more than one submission, let's say I solved it using greedy and then using dynamic programming, which of my solution would count?
So let me take a scenario. So suppose you actually finished at 12 o'clock solving it by using greedy technique, and then you submitted it at 12 o'clock or 12:01, right? And then you actually started solving this problem using, DP approach, and then you solved it using the dynamic programming technique. Now, what you would do is, like, suppose at 12:39 you submitted it. So the last submission, which is a 12:39 submission, that would be taken for the evaluation, unless until you go ahead and then make another submission, which might be at 12:40 or 12:50. So the latest submission, in short, would be taken for the evaluation purpose.
Okay, so I should ensure that my final submission is my last submission to
Yeah, that's right, sir.
maximize the score. Okay.
That's right.
And sir, if I get selected for the interview after cracking the online exam, how should I prepare for the interview?
Okay, so that's good that you have actually prepared well, and then you are now for the final selection process, which is the interview process, right? So first thing which I would tell to the candidates, right, don't get nervous around it, because for most of you it is the first interview which is going to happen, or second interview. So a lot of nervousness will be there. I've seen people who are trembling in the, or who are very nervous and then who are not able to speak during the interview. Please make sure that you practice once or twice. You might actually ask a friend to interview you. You might ask your colleagues or your brother, sister, anyone to interview. That is first thing. Don't become nervous, because when you become nervous, you will not be able to solve the problem which is given to you and will not be able to answer it. So it's very important that you are comfortable, right? That's first thing. Now, the preparation involves, one, solving of the technical problem which is given, right? You would be given a problem, and then you have to code it and then execute it and then see, okay, this can be solved. And then based on that, people actually ask you questions. So the questions will be usually on algorithm and data structures, the first few questions, right? And they will ask, can I use linked list for this? Should I use a map instead of some other data structures? And if I use map, whether I should use a hash map or tree map, right? That's the kind of question which an interviewer will ask you usually, to understand how have you approached the problem statement and what is your thinking, how you are thinking. Now the second part of it is, like, you should be good at your computer science fundamental, right? So let it be operating system, compilers, computer network, digital signal processing. If you have taken any elective like AI, or any other elective like computer vision, please go through the basics of it, prepare well, right? You should actually know the basics of it well, and you should be able to answer most of the questions. One of the things which is there, people do ask question on the operating system, and then what are the algorithms which are used, like scheduling algorithm. So I would suggest go back and then read your courses, just brush it up, and then you should be good to go. For non-computer science student, I would suggest, like, go ahead and any of the data structures and object-oriented programming you would have covered, because you have solved this and then you have reached at this stage. Apart from that, I would suggest if you could actually brush up on computer network, mathematics, DSP, that is digital signal processing, and some of the your core subjects which are there, that would help. But all the non-computer science student would be asked question on algorithms and data structure, so you should be good at it.
Okay. Okay, sir. And the language I choose, the coding language to code in the online test and to answer in the interview, does that have any impact on the chances of selection, or should I prepare for a particular coding language?
So I would say that if you're comfortable in a one particular programming language, right? Like, for example, you are comfortable with Python, please go ahead and then use Python, right? But if you are comfortable in multiple programming languages, right, you are polyglot in nature, you are good at Java, you are good at Python, you are good at JavaScript, then you choose the programming language which is appropriate for that problem. By which I mean, so for example, if there is a something where I have to use TreeMap, then I'll go ahead and then use Java, because in the core SDK of the Java, or what we call as a JDK, there is a TreeMap implementation which is already there, right? So I'll go ahead and then use TreeMap rather than writing my own TreeMap implementation, right? And if I have to actually solve it very concisely, if I could do it using Python, I will go ahead and then use Lambda and then solve that rather than writing 20 or 30 lines of code in C++ or Java, right? So choose a language which is appropriate for that problem statement and you are comfortable with it. You should not be actually saying, okay, what's the syntax of doing this? So don't go ahead and then again switch the screen because that will be considered for evaluation. Instead of that, you say that, okay, I know this Python as a very good, I'm good at the library of it. I'll go ahead and then code it in Python.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for all your insights. This will be very helpful for helping me prepare for the interview and the coding exam. I don't have any other questions.
Thank you, Sneha. Thanks everyone for having us. Stay safe and prepare well for your Infosys online test.